we move on to discuss Ukraine stealing their 3 points versus Slovakia and Austria defeating the Polish national team. Now, Ukraine, they got a massive, massive victory against Slovakia. I can't put into words. After that really bad, disappointing game to Romania, losing that game 3-0, not only was a bad loss in how it happened, but also in a bad loss in terms of goal differential. So we're really looking at this game, especially with Ukraine knowing that they play Belgium in the next game. This needed to be a win. A point was not going to be enough because they had to go into that Belgium game, with at least knowing that they have to win. That's not a good situation that you want to find yourself in. So in the Slovakia, they went up 1-0 early. They were able to get that breakthrough in the 17th minute, but Ukraine were able to hang in there, and then the quality eventually rose through. Because this Ukraine team does have players with ability. They're a good team. They have guys of Dopvik playing an amazing season. Mikhail Modric, who's not had the best season, but he's raw. He has talent. Zinchenko, we know him, that plays for Arsenal. They're players that play in the big leagues and have very, very good seasons. And but Yaremchuk was the one that was able to score the late winner as Ukraine, as they were able to keep their European Championship alive. And now a loss would have, basically eliminated this team because of the bad goal differential in that first game. But realistically, they needed, realistically they needed a point. But to be honest, they really knew that they needed 3 points, and they were able to get it done. Slovakia, keep in mind, they were coming off a game that they stunned Belgium in their opening match by winning that victory. So they came into this game not with, they didn't come in this game thinking they have a free shot, but they came into this game thinking, a point will be satisfied. We could be good with the point, and they got up early, but they weren't able to. They weren't able to hold on to that lead. Ukraine, they searched for a lot of opportunities to get an equalizer. They actually, let's get this straight. If you go back to the first half, Slovakia dominated the 45 minutes. And it was interesting that Anatoly Trubin came in for Andrea Lunin, who actually had a good season for Real Madrid, made that a mistake in the opening game, and Anatoly Trubin came in and he made some saves important saves that kept Ukraine into this game. And in that first half, they needed him because Slovakia could have put this game away or potentially put it out of reach, but he came in clutch, and they were able to get out of there 1-0. But in the second half, Ukraine were able to recollect themselves, and they had a very, very good second half. Mikhail Modric, I thought he was pretty good in that second half. He was making a lot of clever runs, showing his ability. Shaparenko was able to sweep home Zinchenko's cross to level it up. And then from then on, Ukraine's really dominated that game. Modric also struck the post. And then Yaremchuk, who came on late, was able to show his amazing technique. That touch was sensational. Just a beautiful, that kind of first touch is a touch that you show little kids to say this is what you need to be in a football player. First touch, what a touch. The first touch sets him up brilliantly, and he's able to slightly knock it right past Dubravka to make it 2-1. Absolutely sensational goal. In my opinion, that's the kind of goals I love seeing. One of the best goals in the tournament, because the way he controlled that ball on the first touch is very difficult, and maybe you don't understand that unless you've actually tried to do it before. But controlling that touch from a ball in the air, and being able to control it and keep it right in your pass to finish it off right away, it's something that cannot be underestimated, and it's a big time play. And to do it in that sort of stage, to get that goal in that situation, whenever your team needs it most at the European Championship, I have to say I can't give him enough. You cannot give him enough respect for that. That was a massive goal, and great goal by Yaremchuk, and an important goal. Now we continue on with the Austria-Poland game. Now, Both of these teams are also coming off of a loss in the game, and they're both coming off respectable losses in my opinion. In the fact that Poland, it took them the last few minutes for Netherlands to finally get the winner with Weghorst coming on against Poland. They did that without Robert Lewandowski. And Austria, I thought, played a very, very good game against France. Had a few games, but they were more of the progressive team, and they were not as afraid to play against the likes of Canada, which is, for me, I was very impressed, or against France. So for me, I was very impressed with Austria and what they were able to pull off. But they weren't able to get the victory at the end. They lost to France 1-0, prototypical France game. But, there was a feeling that they got the worst team out of the group out of the way, and now they came into this game. Realistically, 3 points was very, very important because you don't want to go similar with Ukraine. You don't want to go into that Netherlands game, needing to win. Now getting 3 points, you get a draw in that game, potentially that might be enough as a third place team to get it through. It could be enough. You never know. That's a brilliant position that they found themselves in. Now in the first half, it was tight. Austria took the lead early on, but Poland were able to find an equalizer, and Ralf Rangnick was able to make some impressive substitutions, show his ability to be a manager, and very good manager, and those substitutions paid off. Baumgartner was able to get a goal, a brilliant goal in my opinion, and then the substitute that also got into the series, Anatrovic, he was able to capitalize on a penalty opportunity. You see, again, this is a very important victory for Austria because 3 points, were so vital in this situation, and they were the better team. They really were, they showed their ability to not be afraid to press up high, win the ball in certain areas. They played very, very fluid. I loved it the way they played. Robert Lewandowski, he was also on the bench in this game. He came on a little bit later on, but you could tell that he was, he was not 100%. And it took Austria, and it was Austria who was able to get the late goals, not Poland, as they capitalized. But to be honest, Austria were the more dominant team. They played the better football. They had more of the opportunities. If you look at expected goals, Austria in the first half had 0.56, but in the second half they had 1.34. You saw the level of progression, the substitutions, the halftime adjustments, and they played a very, very good game. And despite having the crazy thing is despite having less possession in that first half, Austria was a little bit slow with it. They had 60% of the ball, but they didn't create much and only had 0.56% of the expected goals. But in the second half, having less than 50% of possession, they only had 46. Poland had a majority of the possession, but they had more chances. They created more chances because they were more intense. They didn't really, they're not a team that possesses a team and is going to pass the ball into the back of the net like a tiki-taka style. They're a team that's not afraid to defend, that are not afraid to press up high, to win the ball high and quickly get an attack going. That's their style of play. They're a very quick, heavy metal team, and it shows that they don't need possession to create chances. In fact, they create a lot of their chances winning the ball off of your possession, and they did that again. Very important win for Austria. They proved why a lot of people are really rating this team, and I think they'll make that Netherlands game very mucky. I'm so excited for that game. We should all be very, very excited for that game because, that game is one of the games of match day 3 that we'll all be looking forward to.